Okay, this is going to be about Joe Cell, alternative energies, free energies, occult ether physics, basically. That's what the video is about, the Joe Cell. As you know, I've talked about the Joe Cell before there's a playlist down below where I'm going to talk just about Joe Cell, and you can just turn it on and just listen so you can probably get an idea. But it's one of those things. It's something like the life insurance policy, the whole life insurance policy, IBC banking, Nelson Nash, and you cannot understand it we cannot understand it easily because we are so trained to think differently. For instance, we go to the bank and we have checking accounts and so forth, and you can never be your own bank and you can never do stuff on your own. With a policy like this, it's just it's a way for you to keep your wealth, grow your wealth, and also just completely take over the banking process. You never need a bank anymore. You never need to finance a car anymore because you're going to have a car every 4 or 5 years instead of paying interest to somebody else and then the money disappears. It's over there generating money, and they had a little wealth generator that I talk about all the time. But anyways, Joe Sellers, it's the same thing, the same principle. It's like a different mindset. It is, I don't know, out of this world. The banking process is out of this world. It's into another dimension, so to speak. And so is the Joe Cell. And what I know about the Joe Cell is that it is not easy for people to understand. First of all, if it works or not, you gotta be a believer. I mean, I've seen his little blue car with the flames on it. I've seen it work. The Holden over in Australia. I didn't see it personally, but I've seen videos of it, and he disconnects the fuel and he takes these people from the RTA. I guess that's the regional transportation authority over there in Australia. It's called RTA. He takes these government people in the car, and they're not too impressed themselves. They don't grasp the idea easily. It's one of those things that it's alchemy. It's like, it's you cannot grasp the idea when you're, especially if you've been trained. If you've been trained that gasoline runs an engine all the time, and it may help in some way, but is it really running on gasoline or something else that we really don't understand because we're so blind to it? And I think that's what happened in with the people in Atlantis, for instance. That they had free energy, and it came over to Egypt also. You find a lot of all these buildings in Egypt. The phenomenal, the pyramids and all that. They don't have wires running through them. It's like, did these things glow? Was there a certain glow even at night, where you did not need electricity, you did not need to run generators and alternators and air conditioners and what have you to run your society? Did they have something else? Did they have the need for transportation like we do? Maybe they didn't. Maybe they were able to just grow it in a box or something, and it came to be. Cool. It's very different than it is today. We're very materialist. We're very, very into the world, and we rely on the world for for everything. Um, so it's a change of mindset. You've got to be open for a change in the mindset of if you want to develop your own Joe cell. What is it running on? It's not the vapors. We already know that it does produce some kind of vapor. Today, people call them. They give them all names: HHO, BHO, hydroxys, and pyroxys, and ions, and all they give all kinds of names to it, to an energy that we cannot. These are theoretical people. They come up with these names without even knowing what they're really talking about. So, are we really running on? For instance, a car is the car really running on gasoline itself? Well, a car can also run on, let's say, diesel, which is an oil. An airplane engine can run on gasoline. It can. Just that you can't go higher than 10,000 feet. These are jets, smaller jets. I don't know about the large airplanes if they can use it, but they probably could. It's just that it's going to be not as efficient as it would you running kerosene, which is jet fuel, basically. Diesel, it's kind of like the same stuff. So we're running on what kind of a gas, or we're not running on the gas. What's in there? Okay, forget the gas. It's like electricity just running through it, like a capacitor. You get the electricity from a capacitor, and it starts a motor, an electric motor. That's what the intended purpose is. So what is it running on? And that's a good question. And what's it running on? Is it running? Can we get it to run with that particular cell? Now, with the Joe cell, you're able. Supposedly, you're able. Once you get a car running with it, you can take it out after a while. I don't know what the time frame is. It all depends. If you're able to remove that cell and get that car running, it doesn't need to go back to the cell. It may need to go back to the cell maybe after a while. It kind of just starts losing its grip, and it's running rough, and it's not. It'll go back on gas because it needs gas, and then you gotta detune it, and then you gotta get it back on the Joe cell. From what I understand is that the timing is affected. You gotta advance the timing when you connect the cells. So when you advance the timing, you're changing the frequency of that fuel to make the engine run efficiently with the given fuel that you're using. For instance, diesel, zero, top dead center. Its compression is zero, and the engine goes right. Supposedly, that's how you reach the frequency for a diesel engine to move. Iron blocks are different. Iron blocks are different than aluminum. Aluminum, you gotta advance the timing even more. Iron blocks supposedly are a little bit more harder to get going than an aluminum block. So in order to get that frequency, you always remember it's about frequency. That's what Joe's mentioned, and we don't know his last name. It doesn't matter because he doesn't care. He doesn't care to have his. He's known as the Joe cell, basically, and he talks about frequencies, the frequency. Once you get that frequency right, and it's just like tuning up a car. If you've ever tuned up a car and advanced the timing and the carburetor, and that's what I do with my Corvair, for instance. I gotta adjust the carburetor and just a little more, a little lean, a little more fuel. Today you got fuel injection, which a computer does that for you automatically as you run the car. Carburetors you gotta adjust once, and hopefully it runs right. And if it runs right, you leave it alone for another 3,000 miles or so. But he talks about the frequency, and getting that frequency right is how you get that car to run. Now, that lawnmower that was running by itself without any fuel, it reached the frequency. Now, what happened if I advance the timing on it? If I advance the timing on it, it might probably run a little bit better, longer, and be more powerful, because it's pulling that energy from the ether, basically. And you're setting a frequency that's going to make it run strong and efficient. Now, how long more that lawnmower could have run, I don't know. I never tried. I never went back to experimenting with that. Like I said, my mom started getting sick, and I couldn't get. I left everything alone. All my little experiments were left behind, and now I have a little time. It's just that now money situation is not that great. With that said, let's see, what else did I needed to say? Yeah, Joe always talks about the frequency, getting the right frequency. Now, the cells themselves, for instance, like here, let me show you this. You got to remember, this is a little singing bowl, and it has its frequency, right? So it has its frequency, and inside, if you put water inside it, it's going to have its own. The water is going to move in a certain way. If this was a little bit shorter and smaller, the frequency would be higher, right? And if it was a big bowl, it would be bong. You would get a big bong sound. So basically, this is a singing bowl, and you have 5 concentric cylinders, one inside the other. Actually, 4 of them inside a 5th cell that's sealed from the outside, and connected to that blind bolt or blind plug in your car. And each one of these cylinders has its own frequency. You hit it with a little hammer, and it bing, bing. You get different sounds. And if you get the right sound, you're going to get the right frequency to the thing. Now, he's got some dimensions on the way the cell should be. Let me set this down. I would like to post that in some place, and I'm gonna find a server or something, maybe in like a Discord, and leave all the files there that I have, so you can have access to it. Something happens to me, hopefully somebody else starts working on these things, and hopefully this is not forgotten. And again, I'm not, some people are have asked him if he's ever been threatened by the big corporations or anything, or anybody has come. He says that some people have come by, suspicious looking characters, but people don't grasp the idea. It's just like the life insurance, the whole life insurance policy, which is not an insurance policy. It's one of those things that's hidden from people for some reason, I guess. I don't know. And people are not going to grasp. They're not going to go to it right away. They go, no, I better not. They don't want to deal. They don't want. People just don't want these things. Same thing with magic and all these things, which I was thinking about the cell. I'll bring it up one of these days. It's about, I don't know, 7 inches high. And it's almost like, if you want to say it's kind of like a magic wand, in a way it is, because it's kind of, throwing your desires out there. You want free energy, okay? So you turn it on and you put it on the engine. By the way, you don't have to connect the cell to the engine, to the 12 volts. You only do it slightly just to turn it on and set a frequency to it. You do not need to hook it up to the car. But supposedly the cell starts bubbling and it becomes energized. It becomes like like a capacitor. Although people don't know that a capacitor does not hold energy, it's the energy passes through. It absorbs the energy. That's why it's in a little coil. It grabs that frequency, that energy, that high frequency energy, and it grabs it when it is activated with a negative. So it grabs. Remember what I said? Let me do this. Let me take my gloves out. With this hand, you grab your right hand, and with this one, you give. You grab energy. Maybe that's why, the Nazi salutes were, with the hand extended this way. It was a way to harness the energy. And with this one, you hold your magic wand, and it's like this one you give. This one receives, this one gives. Positive, negative. Is it positive? Yeah, it is. I'm pretty sure. If I'm wrong, somebody correct me. I get confused with a lot of these things, mostly because it's not something that you use every day. So it's like you have to go back and think and remember a lot of these things. The same thing with the Joe Cell book, Joe Talks. I showed you in that other video with Joe Cell, and you got to read that thing, And if you're into this stuff, you've got to read it once a year, in the springtime when the weather's nice. And that's what I used to do. I used to take all my stack of little books, oh boy, all the Gnostic books and all that I just loved reading them. And I would just sit in the stairs in the springtime just reading this stuff. And I would go from cover to cover, Emerald Tablets of Thoth and a bunch of stuff in the springtime, just reading them once a year, because some of this stuff you just cannot. The second time you read something, then it's going to come to mind. Oh yeah. So if you have, if you have access to that book, always remember to make sure you read it over and over and over. It's the only way for you to really grasp what's going on. I really don't know anybody else. Probably Peter Stevens may, because he was with Joe all the time. But even him, he was not He was in Arizona, I don't know, about 15 years ago or so, running a diesel engine, but he wasn't running, they were not 100% efficient. If you're 100%, you're running on free energy, basically. They were not. They were running about, they were doing like, I think 40 miles to the gallon or something like that on a real big pickup truck, where probably the mileage on a truck like that is like 8 or 10 miles to the gallon. So even him, Joe knew how to do it. And if you want to pursue that, I mean, it would be wonderful to have something like that, because you can, you don't have to pay for energy anymore, and maybe you can do other stuff. Like I said, you're probably able to completely disappear from the face of the earth with a cell like that. The governments would really like that, right? Okay, so that's basically the talk today. Basically, frequency. Always remember the frequency. It's pretty much about frequency, and that's what the Joe cell pretty much is. Okay, guys, that's all I wanted to say about the Joe cell. I'm gonna keep talking about this over and over, maybe. As things that, stuff that I remember that's important, I'll just keep talking about it. Hopefully somebody can use this someday. If not, it's okay, And I know somebody out there is going to say, oh, wow, I'm glad that I ran into this. Okay, guys, take care. Yeah, okay.